All right. Not number 2. Taurus number 4. This is number 4 in our series. All right. So let me get myself together. Welcome. Cheers. This is iced tea. No, not tea. In this cafe in Vietnam, they roast black beans. And then they, after they roast the black beans, they steep them in steaming water, and they serve it as a tea. So that's what I'm drinking right now, and it's quite delicious and quite refreshing. You can really get used to it, y'all. Okay, so let's begin. Page number 73. We're gonna pick up where we left off this morning when we did Taurus in the Gospels number 3. So I'm going to start here. So open your books and get ready to go. So here we go. Ptolemy has this to say about the astrological nature of this planet. So we're talking about Venus right now. Venus is the ruler of Taurus. Venus is the ruler of Taurus. Taurus is symbolic of man's and woman's nature, man and woman's rightful position or relationship with the universe or with the planet, okay? That's what we're dealing with. So Venus is the ruler of that. Also note that it is in Taurus where engineering feats take place. Engineering feats take place. So I'm not going to say more about that, but that's the setup, what you need to know basically to be able to follow. Ptolemy has this to say about the astrological nature of this planet, or the astrological nature of Venus. Venus causes fame, honor, happiness, abundance, happy marriage, many children, the increase of property. Venus brings successes, profits, and the full rising of rivers. That means no drought. You got enough water to do anything you want to do. Of useful animals and the fruits of the earth. She is the preeminent cause of abundance, good yields, and profits. So now those of you who study the law, you should immediately relate this to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 15. Okay? Most Bibles will have Deuteronomy chapter 28 with the subheading, the blessings, and then verse 16 and after, the curses. So clearly, Taurus and Venus are associated with the blessings. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 15. The material wealth, the peace and harmony. Let's read it again. Ptolemy was an Egyptian astrologer who's famous. Okay? Ptolemy has this to say about the astrological nature of Venus. Venus causes fame, honor, happiness. So fame, everybody's going to know you, right? They're going to know you before they even meet you. They're going to have a positive perception about you. Honor. Why is it causing honor? Because you're living out the blessings, which means what? You've been following natural law, which means what? You behave honorably. And now you have a record of honorable behavior. Everyone see it? Happiness. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15 talks about us having everything, not only just rulership, but we control commerce. We control all areas of human activity. You have happiness. And happiness, remember, happiness is something different than being satisfied. All right? Happiness is different than just satisfaction. Y'all can look into that yourself. Abundance, happy marriage. Not only happy marriage, but what? There's no more problems with the children coming out of the womb. Stillbirths, genetic deficiencies, right? Or deformities, right? Why? You have enough food, you have enough clean water, you have enough mineral nutrition, you have everything. You have everything. So with proper diet and mineral nutrition, you'll be very healthy. Even now. The increase of property. Okay, so the borders of the promised land were only limited by our growth. Y'all remember that? So increase of property. So not only will you accumulate material wealth, but you accumulate more land. Venus brings successes. Everything your hand touches will succeed. This is what Deuteronomy 28 says. Also, I believe it's 30 says it. But in any event, that's part of the contract. Everything our hand finds to do in terms of work becomes a huge success. So here we see Venus written all over that. Profits. Profits becomes riches, riches become wealth. And the full rising of rivers, of useful animals. So we see all of this, and of the fruits of the earth. Venus is the preeminent cause of abundance, good yields and profits. This is page 185 through 187 of Ptolemy's work. So what are we to get from this? What we're to get from this is that the energetic effects of Venus have some type of influence on those mechanisms that cause the earth to bring forth its fruitage in an abundance, that causes the wombs of animals to give birth their fruitage in abundance, and that makes us healthy and happy and satisfied. Now, just what is that energy and what are those mechanisms? I have no idea. Okay? I have no idea. But just because I don't understand electricity doesn't mean I don't charge my cell phone every night. Doesn't mean I don't plug my laptop in and I use electricity just because I don't understand it. Y'all see my point? So let's continue. So we're relating these energetic effects back to the contract. In religion, y'all call it the Mosaic Covenant. We also call this the restoration of what? Our estate. The restoration, the reclamation of our estate. If you're Genesis chapter 2 more. Okay, now let's continue. The association of Taurus with agriculture is very ancient and widespread. The Pleiades, a prominent and beautiful group of stars in the shoulder of the bull, that's the zodiac sign, the bull, Taurus. The Pleiades is in the shoulder area of Taurus. Was used to mark the seasons in ancient times. Okay, so y'all got that. All right, y'all got that. So Taurus, specifically the Pleiades constellation in the shoulder of the bull, in ancient times was used to mark or identify the seasons. Philo of Alexandria, Mark's, that's the Apostle Mark, the Apostle Mark's contemporary, tells us that the rising and occultation of the Pleiades brings great benefits to human beings. So we know we're talking about man, right? So let's continue. Not human beings, man. For when they set, the furrows are plowed up for the purposes of sowing, And when they are about to rise, they bring glad tidings of harvest. And after they have arisen, they awaken the rejoicing of husbandmen. These are agricultural people, right? Farmers and farmhands. To the collection of their necessary food. So now, we are during harvest time, so this is the covenant of grace, right? This is the covenant of grace. This is the autumn equinox. This is the autumn equinox, all right? Let's continue. So during the autumn equinox, what happens? The grapes, the ripened grapes are harvested, and they're treaded to make wine. Y'all see this? They're treaded to make wine. And after September 29th, I believe it's September 29th, the grapes are past ripe. And if you harvest them and you bite them, or if you try to make wine out of them, they taste like vinegar. So this is why September 29th is what? The opening of the gates of hell. This is why the Roman soldiers gave JC, the Christ figure, vinegar to drink. Make the connections. Make the connections. So during the covenant of grace, you have all the wine you want, so you can drink unto your heart's desire. You have all the food you want. You have all the water you want. You have no concerns or worries. All right, y'all? This is the covenant of grace. But what's happening? So you got to take the good with the bad. What's happening right now? The earth, or Mother Earth, has reached its climactic event of the year, which is the harvest. Now the sun reached its peak during June, somewhere around June 22nd, 23rd. The sun reaches its highest point in the northern sky, and from there it falls downward. The sun begins to descend. Y'all see that? The sun begins to descend. In other words, the nights are becoming longer than the days. More nighttime hours than daytime hours. In this way, the sun is being humiliated by the darkness. In other words, the prince of darkness is humiliating the Christ. The Christ is the sun. Y'all get this? So what should we expect to happen, to be happening with this story? Eventually, Taurus will end, right? So what's going to happen? There should be some darkness that's going to come into the story. Why? Because we're at the harvest, we're at the covenant of grace. This is the astrological cycle. All right? So let's continue. All right, and they with joy stir up their food for daily use. This is Philo, page 17. The natives of Tonga Island use these stars, that's the Pleiades, to divide the year into seasons. So here's another reference of Taurus being used to identify the seasons. And Hippocrates, quote unquote, made much of the Pleiades, dividing the year into 4 seasons, all connected with their position in relation to the sun. That's the end quote. They are the quote unquote hoeing stars of South Africa. That's the Pleiades. And take the place of a farming calendar to the Solomon Islands. So y'all see this? The Pleiades that's in the shoulder of Taurus is related to agriculture or associated with agriculture through ancient times. And their the last visible rising after sunset is, or has been, celebrated with rejoicing all over the southern hemisphere, not northern, southern hemisphere. as betokening the waking up time to agricultural harvest. So in the southern hemisphere, when you see the Pleiades in the sky, you're in the southern hemisphere, you know it's time to harvest. Time to harvest. That's from Allen, page 400 to 401. Virgil, in the first Georgic, mentions how those farmers who don't refer to the Pleiades when planting usually pay a heavy price. So again, here is Virgil saying farmers who don't refer to Pleiades are going to make some costly mistakes. Let's read it. Some that before the fall of Pleiades began to sow, deceived in the increase, have wrapped wild oats for wheat. Y'all got that? Instead of getting wheat, he got wild oats. All right, is that clear? Let's check. So y'all put something in the comment, like and share the video, y'all. Like and share the video. You're not going to get, as far as I know, this kind of knowledge in other places. Now this is not my knowledge. This knowledge is coming out of the book, the Gospel and the Zodiac by the Reverend Bill Darrell-El. One day I'm going to remember his name. So this is the Gospel and the Zodiac, the secret truth of JC the Christ figure. The link to the free PDF is in the description area of the video. It's not my information. So I'm not claiming to be any type of guru. I'm presenting this to you, and I'm sharing with you that other people in our nation, in our empire, have not, to my knowledge, and I can almost say with certainty, will not share this information with you because it's not in their best interest. All right? They're not trying to liberate you or help you to get out of the oppression that you are experiencing. They want to keep you in religion. All right? In religion, they have control over your mind and therefore your behavior, whether you want to accept that or not. Cheers. All right, y'all. Let me get myself together, y'all. I'm a little bit tired. Give me a minute. All right. Let's continue. I'm good now. The spiritual lessons of Taurus. In the light of these testimonies to the Taurus-Venus association with farming, growth, abundance, and fecundity, it can be no coincidence that in this clearly defined second section of the Gospel of Mark has drawn together a number of parables. So here we go. We're going to get into JC's parables. With the one exception, are concerned with these very themes. Then we see in parentheses, but the quote-unquote exception is still related to Taurus. As we shall see, there's a footnote. I'm going to go read the footnote after I read the last sentence. Mark's parable section begins with the Taurinian figure of the sower going out to sow. Y'all see that? And you know who gave this parable. So let's go to the footnote first. The footnote is on page 75. So y'all can see I'm not making this up. The footnote reads, the parallel section in Matthew, okay, chapter 13 is in parentheses. The parallel section in Matthew, in parentheses, chapter 13, contains even more parables than Mark's gospel does. Each one of the parables employed Taurinian imagery. The wheat and the tares. Okay, so the parable about the wheat and the tares, which is Matthew chapter 13, verse 24 through 30, contains, according to the author, Taurinian imagery. So in other words, the parable about the wheat and the tares is astrological, and it's having to do with Taurus, the zodiac sign Taurus. The hidden treasure in Matthew 13, verse 44, is also Taurinian. In other words, it has to do with the zodiac sign Taurus. The pearl of great price, Matthew 13, verse 45 and 46, also has to do with the zodiac sign Taurus. The net from Matthew chapter 13, verse 47 to 50, also has to do with the zodiac sign Taurus. Mark has obviously shortened the original, which he admits at chapter 4 through verse 33. With many similar parables, JC, the Christ figure, spoke the word to them. So according to the author, that statement is Mark showing that he got his stuff from Matthew. All right, so let's get into it. But I hope y'all remember, that these parables in Matthew chapter 13, the wheat and the tares, the hidden treasure, the pearl of great price, and the net, all are astrological, and they are related to Taurus, the zodiac sign Taurus. Let's go back into the book. Go back into the paragraph right here. All right. Mark's parable begins with the Taurinian figure of the sower going out to sow. Listen, a farmer went out to sow seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on the rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came, the plants were scorched and they were withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among the thorn, which grew up and choked the plants so that they did not bear grain. Some other seeds fell on good soil. It came up, grew and produced crop, some magnifying 30, some multiplying 30, some 60, and some 100 times. Then JC, the Christ figure, said, quote, "Whoever has ears to hear, let him hear." Mark chapter 4, verse 3 through 9. Now, when I was very young, I think I was 16 or 17 years old, that's when I began my religious journey. And this was very profound and caused me to think about it a lot. And up until this point, let me rephrase that. After elementary school, when I realized that the teachers were full of BS and they were not interested in educating me, but in harming me, I realized that. I was in 3rd or 4th grade when I realized that the information in the textbooks and what the teachers were saying were not helpful but harmful. And I also realized that they weren't true. Okay, and I also realized that the tactics that the school used and that my teachers used were not to help me but to harm me. I was aware at that young age. Some of y'all may be able to relate to it, others not. But I knew. So 7th grade forward, through high school, I wasn't interested in school. Okay? I was interested in having fun and doing my own thing. Art. I was interested in art, drawing. I enjoyed working with wood, etc., etc., etc. But I didn't like painting. But I was into sketching, coloring, making wooden products, all kinds of stuff. I really enjoyed art. And then when I got into religion, I renewed my love for reading. And that's when I became a very avid reader. Until now. Until now. So let's go back to the paragraph. The quote-unquote explanation of this parable, which Jesus is said to have delivered privately to his apostles, this is at Mark 4, 10 through 20, spells out what the Taurus phase of spiritual life demands of us. What the Taurus phase of the art of living well demands of us. Okay? So this spiritual life is a remix. There is no such thing as a spiritual life outside of breath, the art of breathing, the art of living. So let me repeat this for you. I lost my place. Hold on. So the parable that we just went over, this tells us, or as the author says, spells out what we need to do to live well. It gives us insight into the art of living well. So let's continue. Let's continue. We need to have Taurinian virtues of endurance and stability, in addition to the Aryan virtues of enthusiasm and vigor. Taurinian virtues, well, we can sum this up into what? Follow the, y'all fill in the blank, follow the what? Follow the principles of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your mothers and your fathers. All right? So let's continue. The seed that falls on the side of the road never even begins to put down roots. This is a warning that the spiritual impulse alone is not enough. So what is a spiritual impulse? I need definitions. When people start talking connotatively like this is so you can imagine what he means. Right? And then once you imagine, you've said yes, you're in agreement. But you don't know what you're in agreement with because you don't realize that a spell has been cast. And your yes and your agreement is putting you one step closer to being under mind control of these word magicians. All right? So what is this spiritual life? Y'all hear me? What is it? What is a spiritual impulse? The definition might be different for every person. But once you think about it and you say, okay, what it is for you, that may not be what it is for him. I hope y'all follow what I'm saying. You must be very careful, very suspicious. Do not agree. Read and understand. Don't allow yourself to be transported into a narrative. Because once that happens, you're done. You are done. All right? This is the concept of narrative transportation. If you don't believe me, think about the last time you went to the cinema. Let's say you watched Harry Potter, or you watched the Black Panther, or you watched Avatar, or any other movie. And you sat there and you lost track of time. Or you sat there watching the movie and you forgot about everything else. You were in the movie, as it were. This is narrative transportation. Okay? All right, let's continue. This is a warning that the spiritual impulse alone is not enough. The desire may be sown in the heart, but without adequate nurture, it will easily be destroyed. Now that's what we learned when I was in Christianity, right? In other words, you need to read your religious organization books more often. You need to watch more of your religious organization's books, videos. You need to watch more of their videos. Basically, you need to consume the information that they're giving them more and more frequently, right? This is what they're saying to you. In other words, you need to work on the indoctrination of your mind by consuming their literature and videos. That's what it means. All right? That gets you one step closer to giving the preacher, pastor, or moray access to your wife, to your daughter, to your son, and to your wallet. All right? Remember, I showed you guys about the incantations. We pulled that right out of the devil's pulpit. Okay? This warning is that the spiritual impulse is not enough. I guess what he means is that you feel like you need to turn to Christ. Or you feel like you can't handle your life on your own, so you need to turn to God to get help. You can't get off of alcohol, you can't get off of cigarettes, you can't get off of drugs, or maybe you were off and you fell back off, or you fell off the wagon. Now you realize you need help from JC or from God. All right? So you need to read their stuff. Okay? Now let's continue. Similarly, with the seed that falls on the rocky ground, this seed flourishes for a while, but lacking real foundation, it soon withers in the face of difficult circumstances. So when I was in religion, these difficult circumstances were defined as family and friends who turn against you because they don't want you to study in that religion. They don't want you studying the Bible. They don't want you to be a part of that religion. Okay, but you got to endure. Even though they love you, they care about you, you need to continue going to their meetings, reading their books, watching their videos, so that you can prove that you are not one of the seeds that fell on the rocky ground. All right? You flourished a little bit, then you fell off when opposition came. The spiritual life requires perseverance and tenacity. The two most striking Taurinian qualities, according to the author again, the two most striking or prominent qualities of people who are Taurus, I'm sorry, not people who are Taurus, but the Taurus sign or zodiac sign is perseverance. That means you stick it out through rain, sleet, heat, snowstorm, and the good times. You stick it out. And tenacity, you find a way. Regardless of what the problem, the opposition, you find a way. All right? And you start, you stay. You don't finish, you continue to stay. Right? You're not finished until you expire. Okay? So this is what the author is saying. What spiritual life requires. So let's replace spiritual life with the art of living well. So to live well requires that you persevere and that you be tenacious. Y'all got that? To live well requires that you be tenacious and that you persevere. So that harmonizes with what the prophet noble DrYasapa said. Right? He said to regain your estate and your status, you're going to go through, basically he said you're going to go through hell. Right? You're going to have huge fights, huge battles. And only then will you know your strength. All right, only then will you know your strength. So this is harmonizing with what Noble Darrell-El said. But there are more people who are more educated on his writings than I am. So if y'all are, please put it in the chat. Okay, I would appreciate that. Let's continue. The chief characteristic of the highly developed Taurinian type is his stability of character and purpose. Y'all got that? Well, that's obvious, right? If you're tenacious, if you persevere, that means that you have a character that's stable. Cold weather is not going to change it. Troubles and hard times are not going to change your character. Like most people, now remember, most people are what? Lower self-behavior people. Most people are lower self-behavior people. Most people, when they see that something is going to benefit them, are they going to go with that? They're not thinking about their character. Character means nothing. What means something to them is getting what they want. All right? So I enjoy my black coffee with 100% natural honey. So when you have a natural coffee, it's an herb, right? So you get the benefits of the herb, and then of course natural honey has its many benefits too. Okay. So there's nothing toxic about this. This will not cause you to have bad breath. For example, if you drink coffee with milk, you'll have bad breath because of the sugar, right? You'll have bad breath. And it causes tooth decay. Okay? Whereas honey kills bacteria. All right, so let's continue. Where am I? Okay. So the chief characteristic of highly developed Taurinian types is his stability of character and purpose. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that the art of living well requires that your character be consistent. Okay? People know what you're going to do before you do it. This is what establishes your reputation. Nobody has to ask you or guess what you're going to do in a situation. They know why? Because they know your character. And they know you're not going to change. You're dependable, reliable, stable, consistent. And by the way, gentlemen, women admire these qualities in a man. So even if you are not attractive, or if people say you're ugly, you develop this type of personality, you become very attractive. Add on that some material wealth, and then you become very handsome. You become very handsome all of a sudden, right? You get you some material wealth, stability of character, confidence, reliability, reputation that everybody knows. No one can say anything bad about you. I mean, they can say it, but your reputation goes in front of you. All right? And when people trash talk you, lie on you, do everything they can to tear you down, when you come around, or when other people who've had dealings with you, when they talk about you, I'm talking about the ones who are not jealous, right? The ones who don't want to destroy you. But those people will have nothing but good things to say about you, all right? Okay? And when people deal with you, they'll have nothing but good things to say about you. But the problem is right now is that our people are so messed up still in mass. They love the drama. Many only want to hear sensational, crazy stuff, okay? But let them be where they are. Don't go around them type of people. All right. I wish y'all could have been in the curses course uh, last Saturday. We dealt with this issue. I would love to talk about it right now, but I can't. So y'all need to come to class to learn this information. I wish Isaiah was here. Uh, he knows exactly what I'm thinking about right now. All right, let's continue. And by the way, I just remembered, I forgot to post that video on Patreon. When I go home this evening, I'll post the recording, rather, for our last two, I think, Patreon class, not Patreon, our last two 506 The Curses courses. I'll post them on Patreon so y'all can view them. Now you have to be an observer or a scholar at Zion Law School to listen to our Patreon content. All of our classes are recorded, all right, so that the scholars can go back and listen to them. The observers are people who have not enrolled. You can also go back and listen to them. But you cannot download. Do not download them. You are not allowed to download them. I don't want you to download them. That's my property. Okay, do not download. If you do, that's stealing, right? That's stealing. Okay, so let's continue, y'all. Okay, so the Taurus guy or the Taurus woman is steadfast in mind, unshaken in adversity, and his or her power, and he or she is the power of quaint persistence. Y'all got that? I'll show you how power and persistence, a good example of this. Walk by a tree where there's some concrete, and you'll notice that if the tree has been there for a long time, the concrete breaks, and the root system of the tree, you can see some of it. Well, that doesn't happen overnight. That's persistent pressure being applied to the concrete over a long period of time that eventually cracks the concrete. All right? That eventually cracks the concrete. Just as your persistent pressure will crack those who try to hold you down. And his or her or he or she is the power of quiet persistence in the face of difficulties and hard circumstances. He or she is patient and persistent and is marvelous. Now I reworded that, but that's basically what it's saying. Patient, persistence, and are marvelous. All right? So you show your power. These difficult times, just like Noble Darrell-El said, these difficult times allow you to show your power. Okay? Your deityship. Y'all got it? When you overcome them, you learn your strength. All right? You learn your strength through adversity. This is a lot of fun, y'all, when we integrate all of this information. We integrate it into the book of the law. We integrate it into constitutional law. We integrate it with natural law. We integrate it with all kinds of natural law, right? We integrate it with what Noble Darrell-El said, his works. We integrate it with science, mythology, history, so on and so forth. Okay? This is really, really fun. Really fun. I'm telling you, here at Zion Law School, you get a very good, now let me replace that, an excellent education. An excellent education. All right, so what we just read came out of a book called Pagan, page 23. There is another side of Taurus, however, which is not so admirable from a spiritual point of view, and which this parable clearly admonishes us to avoid. And what is it? Conformity with the world and its values. So what did this just tell us? Do not conform to Christianity. Isn't the world run by religion? Yes or no? Isn't the world governed by the Catholic Church through its religious organizations and through its nation states? Okay? What is this telling us? Get out of the dead state. Get out of maritime law. Stop bowing down and worshiping, knowingly or unknowingly, the Dogon. Reclaim your heritage, which is natural law. Live your life in harmony with natural law and have absolutely nothing to do with the darkness that we call religion in all of its various forms. All right? Why? Because this is corporate religion. All right? Hybrid. Let me read it again for y'all. There is another side of Taurus, which is not so admirable from the author's point of view. Now, what is he? What is he? He's a reverend. He believes in Christianity. Probably also a hybrid. I don't know. But probably also a hybrid. Y'all got to remember that Christianity is good for the hybrid. They've been able to conquer the world and take all of your stuff, escheat you and live off of you through Christianity and through religion. All right? So for these humans, Christianity is a blessing. It's the source of their power. It's through Christianity that they get you to what? To consent to being attained. To giving them your property and then you paying them rent. They get you to consent to it. They also used it to wage war. Not only during the Crusades, but at various times when Christianity was on the come up. And as they sought to stabilize their domination over the earth, they used war. And Christianity, much of its, y'all go check this yourself, much of the texts were rendered in such a way that supported combat. When they gained full control, they said, okay, we don't need this anymore, it's going to work against us. Now let's make it so that everybody becomes docile. All right? So they put that combative language in there to what? Energize their soldiers. Y'all see how Christianity, the writers, they use it as a tool. Okay? Magic. All right? And the magic is the words and the grammar. So here we go. The parable clearly admonishes us to avoid conformity with the world and its values. So if you're Genesis chapter 2, you should be looking at this, is that conformity means conforming to Christianity and accepting it, consenting to it. Okay, when I say it, I'm talking about your status. Your status as a rightful heir or as a civil leader mortuus, dead in the eyes of the law, Negro, black, colored, Latino, Mexican, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right? Return to nature. That's the point. Return to nature. The thorns that choke the plant are the, quote, cares of the age and the deceit of wealth. Now, I agree with the cares of the age, but I disagree with the deceit of wealth, because wealth is good. Wealth is very good. You just try being poor for a while. See which one you like better. Wealth is very good. The problem is the lower self behavior. Money and wealth allow you to be more of who you are. So, if you're a bad person when you're broke, you're going to be a much worse person when you're wealthy. Why? Because you got more resources to do the dirt that you want to do. If you're a good person when you're poor, when you become rich and wealthy, well, you're going to become even a better person. Why? Because you have more resources to do the good that you like to do. Okay, so this is a bunch of garbage, what he wrote. That's coming out of Mark chapter 4, verse 19. All right, so let's continue. So he goes on to say that the troubles or the cares of the day, daily life, the pursuit of wealth, will seduce the seeker from the things of the Spirit. Now, these things of the Spirit is what? The Spirit is breath. So don't fall into this foolishness. The things of the Spirit is nothing. Empty air. No. You should pursue those promises in the contract, Deuteronomy chapter 28, the extreme wealth, the lavish lifestyle, the amazing health. That's what you should be pursuing. You should pursue wealth. You should pursue knowledge. You should pursue living an amazing life. All right? This whole Christian thing that says you should be happy with nothing, be satisfied wherever Christianity falls, this is garbage. That's a means of escheat. Okay? Escheat, or cheating you out of your inheritance. I hope y'all heard that. If you didn't hear anything else, hear that. You have a right to be rich, to be wealthy. It is natural. You're out of harmony with nature if you do not pursue it. And as I said in number 3 of this video series, Taurus, you have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. That is a natural law. The pursuit of property, the pursuit of wealth is a natural law. Don't forget it. The realm of Taurus is the realm of the flesh and its appetites. So here we are in the covenant again of grace, where you have an abundance. But the abundance has nothing to do with the man or the woman. The abundance doesn't care. Again, this has to do whether you're a higher self or lower self. If you're in the lower self, you're going to use your abundance to do lower self stuff. If you're higher self, you're going to use your abundance to do higher self stuff. Period. Okay? So this is why you must read analytically and suspiciously, okay? Which is what I teach you. So you should come to the 506, the Curses course, every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, okay? So you can begin to get a grasp on Ancient Ibaryath and linguistic principles so that you can use them the way I use them. If you like what I'm doing, you can also do it. And I've put the means out there for you, or the mechanism for you to do it. But I can't make you, I can take you to the water, but I can't make you drink. I have books in the description area of this video that y'all can purchase. I have projects that y'all can support, like the project to write the Book of the Law in Ibaryath in English and to take out all the lies. So you have everything you need. Plus what I'm working on now to help you get to where you need to be so that you don't need a teacher. All right? The realm of Taurus is the realm of the flesh and its appetites. And this is the constant warfare with the things of the spirit. Now, let's make sense of this. The things of the spirit is nothing. It's breath, wind. That's nothing. Versus tangible material wealth. Versus substance, like land, like houses, like mansions. Okay? Like water, like rivers, lakes, and streams. Like trees. And all the things you can make with trees, like the energy, sunlight, wind energy, electricity. You want to give all of that up for some wind? Or do you want to educate yourself so that you can learn how to do engineering and create a cell phone, write software, provide wireless electricity, provide safe Wi-Fi? Y'all see what I'm saying? We don't need these people. We don't need them. What we need is to educate ourselves and to reclaim our heritage, reclaim nature, observe, study, experiment, and create. And create. Don't trade all of these tangible wealth and energy for a spiritual life. Are you crazy? Chaucer's wife of Bath puts her own lavishness down to Mars rising in Taurus in her horoscope. So I'm going to stop. No, I'll finish this one and then we'll stop. For certes, I am all Venerian. I don't know these words though. Amphilinge. I'm not going to read that because I don't know these words. Anyway, I'm Dr. DrYasapa from Zion Law School. If you want to support the project to write the book of the law in Ancient Ibaryath with the English translation, so this is how it's going to go. On the first line, Ancient Ibaryath. All right? On the second line, you'll get the etymological meaning of every word in the verse. All right? You'll get the etymological meaning. On the line below that, you'll get the English. And then below that, you'll get it written in easy to understand English. This is the way I write all my books. I'll put the book of the law in there with everything you need to know. Easy to understand. Okay? I'll show you, as I always say, the natural law concepts. I'll show you the escheat, the bills of attainder, everything that there is. I'm going to show you. I'm going to remove the mythology, remove the deceit and the lies. Okay, so you see exactly what it says and get your power back and get your confidence back. All right, so everybody harmonize with nature. Islam to the Moors and Shalawama to all of the Moors. Let me see if I can check these comments. Hold on. Let's see. Y'all make sure y'all like and share the video. All right, like and share the video. I'm out.